Broadcasting live from somewhere in the Shadow Realm, this is YuGiOh Deck Talk. Here's your host, Doug Dimmaduel.
Hey there, and welcome to another episode of YuGiOh Deck Talk. Today, we're going to take a look at some synchro monsters that are pretty powerful, and it's one specific archetype, and that's why I want to kind of keep it all together in one episode here, and that's the Blackwing archetype. Now, these are a lot of dark-type monsters who have some really good effects, and it seems like they rely heavily on the synchro mechanic within YuGiOh, so I want to start going through some of these, and I think you'll find that they could be pretty powerful, and they'll have some pretty good effects as well. So let's just take a look at the first one here. We have Assault Blackwing, Chidori, the Rain Sprinkling, and it's a level 7 Wing Beast Synchro, 2600 attack, 2000 defense. It's a level 7 Synchro. It requires one tuner and one or more non-tuner monsters. If this card is synchro summoned using a Blackwing monster as material, it is treated as a tuner monster while face up on the field. This card gains 300 attack for each Blackwing monster in your graveyard. When this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target one Winged Beast type synchro monster in your graveyard, except Assault Blackwing, Chidori, the Rain Sprinkling, and special summon it. So at least what this does too, and I like its secondary effect where you're basically able to bring back one of your other synchro monsters out of your graveyard and re-special summon. So it kind of adds a bit of a floating feature to the card, and with a starting attack of 2600 in the first place, and if you're running a Blackwing deck with a lot of Blackwing monsters, the fact that you're going to have an additional 300 attack for each Blackwing monster in your graveyard, this card can get pretty powerful pretty fast. So it's already a great card to start off with, and basically you could use this one because it's then treated as a tuner monster while it's on the field. You could use this one as kind of a combo play to get into some of your higher level synchro monsters. But the first one I think of here is this next one, which is Assault Blackwing, Animaru the Divine Thunder. It's a level 12 synchro winged beast with 3000 attack and 2000 defense. It requires one tuner and one or more non-tuner monsters. If this card is synchro summoned using a Blackwing monster as material, it is treated as a tuner while face up on the field. Cannot be destroyed by card effects. You could target one Blackwing monster in your graveyard. This card's level becomes the same as that monster's. You can only use this effect of Assault Blackwing, Animaru the Divine Thunder once per duel. If this card that was synchro summoned using only synchro monsters attacks, this card gains 3000 attack during the damage step only. So, and I know this is going to be a little bit more difficult to get these combo plays off once we implement the whole link summoning mechanic, but for now, given the current format, if you have multiple synchro monsters on your field, one can be treated as a tuner, another synchro can be a non-tuner. If you're able to make this play and get a level 12 Assault Blackwing on Animaru, then you're already looking at a 6000 attack monster. So yeah, it has to be a perfect storm to let this whole thing happen, but it has a lot of big play potential. The other thing that I like about this monster, the Animaru, is that you're basically able to just select any other Blackwing monster in your graveyard and assume that monster's level. So if there's another synchro play that you're trying to get into and you need a certain level monster to make it happen, Assault Blackwing Animaru should be able to make that happen for you. So yeah, this is just an excellent card all around in more than one way. Now, like I said, it has that big play potential with a really high attack, or you can combo it into another synchro play for some other monster that you may or may not want. So the next card that we have here is Assault Blackwing, Raikiri the Rain Shower. It's a level 7 Wing Beast Synchro with 2600 attack, 2000 defense. It requires one tuner and one or more non-tuner monsters. If this card is synchro summoned using a Blackwing monster as material, it is treated as a tuner monster while face up on the field. Once per turn, you can target cards your opponent controls up to the number of other Blackwing monsters you control and destroy them. So this card is fantastic in the sense that if you have your field loaded with Blackwing monsters and you summon Assault Blackwing, Raikiri the Rain Shower, and this is a once per turn effect too, just target your opponent's monsters up to, say, if you have 2 or 3 other Blackwing monsters on the field, then you could destroy 2 or 3 of your opponent's monsters. So this synchro monster is just unbelievably powerful in the sense that you're able to start clearing your opponent's board real fast. Okay, so the next one we have here is Assault Blackwing, YuGiOh the Rain Hider. It's a level 2 Wing Beast Synchro, 800 attack, 100 defense. It requires 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner monster. If this card is synchro summoned using a Blackwing monster as material, it is treated as a tuner while face up on the field. Twice per turn, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. That's a really cool part. So you could even summon this card or special summon it in defense position when you synchro summon this monster. And at least what it will do is stay on the field for at least 2 attacks because it can't be destroyed. So if it could survive a turn, then you could use it or treat it as a tuner for your next turn and eventually get another synchro play. So this is a good card to help bide some time. That's the other effect that I love about this one. Okay, so the next one we have here is Assault Blackwing YuGiOh the Rainstorm. It's a level 5 Wing Beast Synchro, 1500 attack, 2000 defense. It requires 1 tuner and 1 or more non-tuner monsters. If this card is synchro summoned using a Blackwing monster as material, it is treated as a tuner while face up on the field. You can only use each of these effects of Assault Blackwing YuGiOh the Rainstorm once per turn. First effect is when this card is synchro summoned, you can target 1 Assault Blackwing monster in your graveyard and special summon it. Then the second effect is during your main phase. If this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can banish 1 other Assault Blackwing YuGiOh the Rainstorm from your graveyard and special summon this card. So this card allows you to at least float some of your other Assault Blackwing Synchros, or essentially float itself if you run multiple copies of this card in your deck, which can prove pretty useful, because if you have one of these cards on your field, you can always use it for another Synchro play, anything like that. But you can see where these combos lie. A lot of them are within the Synchro stuff. That's kind of why we're doing this episode. But anyway, I want to move forward to another monster here. We have Blackwing Graham the Shining Star, level 5 Wing Beast Synchro, 2200 attack, 1500 defense. It requires 1 tuner and 1 or more non-tuner monsters. Must first be synchro summoned. When this card is synchro summoned, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower non-tuner Blackwing monster from your hand, but its effects are negated. So this is just another way to help fill your field as well. Potentially you could use this one as a non-tuner synchro material. So you can use this even with some of your other synchro monsters that are acting as tuner cards. So yeah, you could get some good combos off that way as well. Next, and this is one that's kind of a utility card that I've used in other decks too, but it's Blackwing Nelthung the Starlight. It is a level 6 Wing Beast Synchro, 2400 attack, 1600 defense. It requires 1 tuner or 1 or more non-tuner monsters. If this card is special summoned, inflict 800 damage to your opponent. Then, 1 face-up monster your opponent controls loses 800 attack and defense. You can only use this effect of Blackwing Nelthung the Starlight once per turn. During your main phase, you can normal summon 1 Blackwing monster in addition to your normal summoner set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. So this card is just all around awesome, just in the fact that you're initially getting an 800 life point burn to your opponent, and then also weakening one of their stronger monsters by 800 attack and defense. So yeah, this one all around is just a good way to even get past your typical 3000 or 3200 attack power monsters. So yeah, Nelthung the Starlight is just an absolute staple, and I think is more of a utility type of card. So this one can be used in multiple decks. Next we have Blackwing Silverwind the Ascendant. It's a level 8 Wing Beast Synchro, 2800 attack, 2000 defense. It requires 1 Blackwing tuner plus 2 or more non-tuner monsters. When this card is synchro summoned, you can target up to 2 face-up monsters on the field with defense lower than this card's attack. Destroy those targets. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this effect. During each of your opponent's turns, the first Blackwing monster you control that would be destroyed by battle is not destroyed. So this thing is just an all-around beast in the sense that, you have to skip your battle phase, but at least you get to destroy any monsters with defense lower than, say, for example, 2800 attack of Blackwing Silverwind. So, but that's not to say that you can't boost the attack and even destroy more powerful monsters with lower defense. So, this card is just awesome. And I know it has a more strict requirement for the synchro summon, but in this type of deck, if you run a Blackwing deck, it should be a little bit easier. Next we have Blackwing Armed Wing. It's a level 6 Wing Beast Synchro, 2300 attack, 1000 defense. It requires 1 Blackwing tuner plus 1 or more non-tuners. If this card attacks a defense position monster, it gains 500 attack during the damage step only, and also inflict piercing damage to your opponent. So what this does is, at least it gives this monster a 2800 attack when attacking a defense position monster, and hopefully you'll be able to get some good piercing damage that way. So Blackwing Armed Wing is a good monster as well. Next you have Blackwing Armor Master, level 7 Wing Beast Synchro, 2500 attack, 1500 defense, requiring one Blackwing tuner and one or more non-tuners. Cannot be destroyed by battle, and you take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. At the end of the damage step, if this card attacked a monster, you can place one wedge counter on that monster, a maximum of 1. You can remove all wedge counters from your opponent's monsters. The attack and defense of those monsters that had wedge counters become 0 until the end of this turn. So this thing is just an all-around beast in the sense that you could attack your opponent's monsters, but it doesn't matter because this card can't be destroyed by battle. But each time you're doing that, you're putting a counter on each of those cards. Then activate its effect and bring them all down from 0 attack, 0 defense. Hopefully you load up your field with other Blackwing monsters, and you can attack all those monsters that have 0 attack and 0 defense, and just clean up your opponent the old-fashioned way just by running over them one at a time. So that Blackwing Armor Master is just a beast of a synchro card. Next we have Blackwing Tamer, Obsidian YuGiOh, level 7 Warrior Synchro, 2600 attack, 2000 defense. It requires one Blackwing tuner and one or more non-tuner Blackwing monsters. You can target one level 5 or higher Winged Beast type monster in your graveyard and special summon it. During either player's turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets only this card, or when your opponent targets this card for an attack, you could target one other Blackwing monster you control that would be an appropriate target. That card, effect, or attack now targets the new target. You can only use each effect of Blackwing Tamer, Obsidian YuGiOh once per turn. So this gives you a lot more control over what your opponent's doing by redirecting effects and redirecting attacks to other monsters that maybe your opponent doesn't want to necessarily use the effect or the attack on. So yeah, Blackwing Tamer, awesome card. But yeah, that's basically the gist of it. Those are all of the synchro monsters within the Blackwing archetype, at least that I'm looking at here, and they all have really powerful effects. So I would definitely recommend looking into a Blackwing type deck. I may do another episode down the road just to get into the regular Blackwing monsters to help build a solid Blackwing deck to take advantage of some of these awesome synchro monsters, and then also to kind of want to do a bit of an analysis about how link summoning can possibly come into play with Blackwings. I'm not sure if this kind of deck is going to be down for the count, or if there's going to be other methods to really utilize these synchros and make better plays happen. So I'm not exactly sure, but we'll see. We'll do a little bit of looking into it. But if you have some experience running Blackwing decks, or if you have experience using some of these Blackwing synchro monsters, I'd love to hear from you too. Reach out to me on Twitter at YuGiOh Deck Talk. It's all one word, at YuGiOh Deck Talk, and I'd love to mention it in an upcoming podcast. But anyway, that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Take care.